A big surprise, a big booster for you guys here. So what can we really put it down to?
Good morning, Rich. I think we've just shown that we've been able to lift the structural growth capacity of the country by 1.5%. The average over the past 6 years has been 6.2%, which is the highest we've had in 40 years. And again, the reason for this is sustained and dependable consumption, but at the same time, an increasingly capital formation and investment. For example, the last quarter showed an increase of about 13.5%. The other important thing is the role of services. The services growth, export growth in the last quarter was over 30%. And this really led by BPOs as well as tourism. In fact, BPO industry hit about 1.2 million employment, and by 2016 or 17, it will be about equal to remittances. So the two of them combined will bring in excess of $50 billion, and this will further strengthen our structural current account surplus situation, which means that we can continue to fund consumption. Our fiscal space is strong, and that means we can continue to fund investment in infrastructure, which augurs well for the future.
Secretary, with that in mind, I mean, what are we looking at for the rest of the year, and how does that, in effect, also change monetary policy, if at all?
Well, I think if you look at the last four quarters, I think we've shown that it's on an upward trajectory. And since the first half of the year, we're going to an election, historically, that's added to the GDP by about 0.5%. So I think, the next year, I'd be cautiously optimistic about doing better than we've done in 2015.
Secretary, I know that you've already said in the interview about how you want to reduce your dependence on remittances. This is a hard nut to crack, though, is it not? So if I'm talking to you, let's say this time next year, what are we going to be talking about in terms of remittances as a percentage of money coming into the country?
Well, increasingly, it's playing less of a role because BPOs have been growing dramatically. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, it will surpass remittances in terms of amount in a year or so. And then increasingly, with improving tourism of the country, it's becoming a third strong leg in our current account story. Plus, of course, many know that the Philippines is one of the world's most mineralized countries. And we've been working on improving the regulatory environment here to make sure that it's a win-win proposition. And then when you see that upturn in commodities in the future, then that can become a fourth strong leg. So remittances is important, but we're increasingly diversifying the source of foreign exchange of the country.